Hello YouTube, it is Wyatt Sandius here, and yeah, I would like to tell you guys a story about the Kingdom der Alpen War, what happened, and the aftermath. So, the Königreich von Bayern, or the Great Army of Bavaria, led by me, we had initially wanted to go to war with Italy to annex their to invade their northern territories, to gain access to the sea, the Mediterranean, so we could build a navy. We went to a suspected, um, yeah, Kingdom of Italy's game, and yeah, talked to their leader, and yeah, declared war on him. He's like, no, I don't do that stuff. So yeah, practically making him a LARPer group instead of actually fighting. But one thing that did catch my eye is the leader of Kingdom der Alpen. I believe his name was Anzac. He had said no one wants to go to war with you, budget bird. He called me a budget bird. Like, what the fuck kind of insult is that? So yeah, we're devastated. But then we notice that Anzac and his men are at the royal palace of Bavaria. We wonder what's going on in there, and then it turns out that um, Anzac, he said, on second thought, we will go to war against you. I would say maybe a day or two later, the Bavarians rally at these very pads a few hours before the battle initially started. The Bavarians, yeah, a motivational speech was actually given beforehand, telling people that yeah, they're gonna do a good job and stuff. I would estimate a total of maybe 10 Bavarians showed up, along with 2 volunteers from the Prussian Kingdom, one of our greatest allies, well, former greatest ally. The person managing the battle was Andy Sound Sandius. He was practically the Minister of Foreign Affairs at the time of the battle, and yeah, he had affiliations with both Kingdom der Alpen and Bavaria. As a matter of fact, he was a field marshal in Kingdom der Alpen before the war had actually started. Before he actually joined Bavaria, he was a field marshal in Kingdom der Alpen. So yeah, he managed all the battles and stuff. Once Once the battle started, the Bavarians immediately rushed out of the pads, taking capture point A. And then once that was done, I led the military units towards the fortress. Now, the map has been updated because Andy Sound had actually made it quite unfair towards the enemy because the capture points are actually closer to the Bavarian base than the enemy base. The enemy base is like all the way over there at the corner. Like not at the very end, but like really close, like in that circle. And yeah, as soon as we rushed the fort, we had captured the point. So here's how it works. As you can see right here, the points are going up. And first one to reach 3,000 wins. The Bavarians had A and B, which yeah gave them more points, while the red team, the Kingdom der Alpen, the German Empire, and another foreign nation that is unaware, according to the Bavarian Royal Guards Intelligence Regiment. But there were a total of 3 nations versus Bavaria and 2 Prussian volunteers that were willing to fight for Bavaria. The Bavarians had immediately rushed to the fortress, got inside, destroyed the ramp, and took aim. They were rushing from sea. The enemy was rushing from sea, trying to get the castle. But the thing was that it was only 1 or 2 people. Because I believe that... someone joined. This is just one of my friends. It's fine. There we go. Now everything's good. As I was saying before being brutally interrupted, the Bavarians, they were shooting from here all the way to here. The thing is, it was organized fire by both mobile and PC players. The enemy forces were rushing from here to here. It was like only one or two, because the thing is, the Bavarians, the majority of the Bavarians were actually recruited from a community known as the Waterloo Home Community. They roleplay as Napoleonic era groups. For example, Prussia, France, Britain, and many more other nations, including fictional ones. But Bavaria was one of the many few nations that was there at the time. But yeah, the enemy had little experience to via thin, and yeah, they didn't know what they were doing. It was really heavily unorganized. They didn't even know what they were doing. The only time when they were organized was when the enemy was trying to flank the fort, which the Bavarians had immediately taken care of. As soon, actually, the battle took quite some time, and then yeah, we reached 3,000. Now the aftermath is what made the downfall of Bavaria. We had updated the map a little bit from the first battle because there was going to be a second battle that was actually no, it was going to be against the French Empire, and yeah, we wanted to make it more fair towards the French Empire because yeah, they were being crybabies. Here's a church that I built because I wanted to, yeah, allow church services. This was back when, yeah, I believe I was a non-denominational Christian, but yeah, now I'm becoming a Roman Catholic. I've got a rosary in my pocket right now. But as I was saying, that's not related to the topic, but anyways, here's when stuff started to kick off. Remember this, Andy Sound Sandius. Andy Sound had actually been affiliated with Kingdom der Alpen before Bavaria. And the thing is, he was refusing to leave the group, which made me and Benji Sandius the Militafuhrer, the current Militafuhrer of the 4th iteration, and the Militafuhrer of the 2nd iteration. Me and him were both really concerned on what the hell was going on. So we had filed a court order on him on behalf of the Royal Bavarian Guards, technically known as the Imperial Bavarian Guards at the time, because this was before we went all lore accurate and stuff, like historical accuracy and stuff. But yeah, me and Benji Sandius agreed to drop the charges. Now this is what I believe. Andy Sound was paid by either Franklin Gallows or the leader of Kingdom der Alpen. Remember Franklin Gallows. Franklin Gallows, he was a really close ally of Bavaria. He led the Prussian kingdom. And yeah, without him being here, yeah, Bavaria wouldn't exist because I actually had taken inspiration from his Prussia group to make Bavaria within the Victorian era. Now, Andy Sound, he was really inactive and stuff, and yeah, what made me concerned is that he falsified time with the next battle against Kingdom der Alpen. We had rallied a bunch of men here. Andy Sound wasn't here, so Andy Sound gave us a time. It ended up being false. Men were rallied there. A second time, according to the actual leader of Kingdom der Alpen, false. Nobody showed up. Men were rallied, etc., etc. And yeah. And then I proceed to create a group known as the Omega Spartan Initiative. Now, take this in mind. I had thought that the Bavarian chain of command would actually be able to function on its own without the need of my assistance. So then, after that, I had formed the OSI. Andy Sound found out. P6, also known as Benji Sandius, had found out. Except Andy Sound was the one who actually took me to court, in the own court that I tried trialing him in. It's genuinely really sad. Except the thing is, Andy Sound Sandius had actually convinced Benji Sandius to betray me on how I was a traitor and I didn't tell them. Yes, that's one thing I regret. I did tell them, but that's because Andy Sound had admitted that if I did create the OSI, he would join it. And I wanted Bavaria to succeed, and I wanted my own group to be under, like, a modern group to be under my terms. Now, the OSI was really good, but here's the court trial. I went to court, I testified and stuff, etc., etc., except Franklin Gallows had convinced me to shoot it up alongside his men, because he had predicted that I would be guilty of all crimes that were given out in the court case. And yeah, him along with a few Illinois soldiers, he had actually created the Republic of Illinois, which is a fictional nation after Prussia died. And then, after that, yeah, we shot up the court. The Royal Guards tried stopping me, but they didn't. The thing is, I was initially hesitant about joining. About shooting it up. I wasn't reluctant. I was hesitant. I didn't want to do it. But then, yeah, I gave in. I was like, I guess. And then, yeah, I shot it up. And then a civil war broke out between the Bavarian Civil Militia, which was my group, and the Great Army of Bavaria, led by Andy Sound and Benji Sandius. You see, it was either I passed down the monarchy or they pledge allegiance to a new group. That's when me, alongside the Bavarian Civil Militia, had decided to flee to Iowa, which the Independent Republic of Iowa was inspired by Franklin Gallows' Republic of Illinois, and yeah, it was a Civil War fictional nation. It had custom uniforms and all that. But then, yeah, it is now the 4th iteration of Bavaria, and me and Benji Sandius, we have both realized that Andy Sound was a traitor and a hypocrite in the military court, and this could have been prevented, but it wasn't. Now, there is a conspiracy that both Kingdom der Alpen and Franklin Gallows are behind the destruction of Bavaria. And yeah, we don't know which is which. But now it's the 4th iteration of Bavaria. No credit to Andy Sound for being a fucking traitor to Bavaria. And yeah, stuff has changed. Now, it's going to be 33,000 soon. Now, I'm going to show you what the Bavarian soldiers saw as soon as we had won. We had saw this screen. There is a picture here. I have proof. You can DM me on Discord if you want to see the exact photo. I'm pretty sure my volume's up. But yeah, my volume is up. At this point, I'm just messing with it. Ooh, speakers. But yeah, it is now the 4th iteration of Bavaria. If you guys want to join, you can go ahead and comment your username for Discord, and yeah, I'll let you in. But yeah, thank you for attending Storytime with me. I had a fun time doing it. Like and subscribe. I do intend on doing a story for the full storyline of Bavaria, going from Franklin Gallows assisting me in founding it to present day 4th iteration of Bavaria. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.